start living.
Oh, sorry.
And she's recording me now.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things that he really focused on building communication skills and connecting. And then he was one of the first people to write a sales book. It was back in the 50s, and talking about selling and what is the connection between selling and communication. And so we kind of tie all this in and bring this into it. But we've been around since 1912, so we have 110 plus years of experience doing this. So here's a fun little video. I hope you all can enjoy this because you'll get a big laugh out of it.
Hey there, you look like the kind of guy who wants to buy a car, and I've got just the one for you. It's got everything you've ever wanted, and I'll make you an offer you just can't refuse. But you better buy now, because I got another guy who's really interested. He'll be by here any minute. What do I got to do to make this a deal for you, huh? Throw in my mother-in-law?
All right. So I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. How many of you ever been with a salesman that made you feel that way?
Yeah.
I think he was my sales manager once.
Yeah, really.
How many of you just been say, okay, yeah, I don't like that kind of salesperson?
Yeah.
No. Not
Yep.
at all.
Yeah. Quite a few.
That's
people.
why I don't like to car shop.
Yeah. Well, and see, it's an important lesson for all of us is that when we're looking at this, we got to understand the importance of how we look, what we say, and what we do. And so I'm going to go through here and talk about this, about what we do that creates credibility. It's the way we present ourselves, and our emotions, our actions, our facial expressions. And we get judged by all of these. So we got to make sure that we are aware of how we are doing things and what we're doing. Because if we're sitting here going like this, the client's going to be looking at you like, okay, they don't agree with me or something's wrong. They're closed off. So we want to make sure that we're open, we're listening, we're attentive, leaning towards them, really trying to understand what they're saying. How we look. Now, this is one of my favorite ones because I can tell you right now, there are a lot of people out there that don't dress according to the position that they have. And you don't have to wear a 3-piece suit, because I'm gonna tell you right now, how many of you would freak out if a plumber that you called shows up at your house with a 3-piece suit to give you an estimate? What's the first thing that's gonna go through your mind?
That's a big bill.
Yeah.
But on the other side of that scale, we don't want the plumber to have, blue jeans with a big crack in the pants, and you can see the plumber crack, the joke, dirty shirt, because it just gives us that, okay, do I really want them in my house? So we need to understand, how we look, what we do, what we say, be clear and effective, make sure we are understood. A lot of times we use terminology that people don't understand. I've been in the mortgage industry for 32 years, finally retired, woohoo. And LTV, DTI, all those kind of terms, CBI, FBI, FIC, FICO, and Beacon, and people don't know what those mean. And a lot of times salespeople will just go out and say, things that are terminology that their customer doesn't understand, and it goes right over their head. And the next person comes in, your competition, and explains it in a way that they understand, and you lost the business. So we need to be careful what we say and how we say it. And how we say it is one of the other things that I really enjoy. I had this presentation the other day where somebody came to try to sell me something. They go, so who do you use right now, for your services? And I'm not going to tell you what kind of services, because it's kind of, you'd know who it is. And I said, oh, ABC company. They said, oh man, they really suck. Here's some of the problems with them. Well, guess what? The person who set me up used to, for that service, used to be somebody I knew and liked. And you might just offended me. And your whole presentation just goes right out the door, because I don't care. I'm not going to listen to you. So it's one of those things that we really need to be careful that we don't badmouth our competition. What we say is we're clear, not using the terminology of our industry, but hey, the DTI, which is called debt to income ratio, is we take all your debts, including your house payment, and divide it by your income. That helps us determine if you qualify for this kind of a house payment. So, explaining it in a way that they understand. So doing that, what differentiates your company from your competitors? Differentiating your solutions from your competitors. Hey, Becky, is there some reason why I can't see the participants when I'm sharing my screen?
Yeah. Because you're sharing your screen, and for whatever reason, that's what it
Yeah,
does.
I share my screen all the time, and it's some setting you have, so I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, hey, Lynn, if somebody raises their hand, will you just throw them out? throw
Yeah.
them to go.
Well, we'll take, because most people like have their mutes on, and so we'll just take time to have
Okay.
people raise their hand.
So,
But I wanted to mention something since you brought it up, Kevin, because I was at a meeting the other day and we had a mortgage lender speaking, and she was talking about the market, and we're talking way over us, using all sorts of three-letter acronyms and things. And she kept saying, she picked on one of the people, it wasn't me, but she kept saying, well, Diane, do you understand? Well, like none of us understood, but we don't want to say anything. But and then at the same time, she's making this one person that was there and paying attention feel stupid. So and so Diane and I talked later about how other lenders don't do that, and we, are we going to send her business? Heck no.
exactly. And that's something that a lot of people have an issue with, is they don't understand that they're coming off that way. So
Right.
going back here, now I can see everybody, so I fixed my
Oh,
screen.
okay.
So
Huh.
who here works for a company that has a great reputation? And what do you do differently than your competitors, your company? And if you're self-employed, Lynn, we'll use you for example. You're self-employed. What is unique about your company versus the big companies?
Well, because I'm self-employed, I act as a broker. I can place you with a company that fits the type of company you have. And I don't try to sell equipment for just to generate income. And I don't sign up people on contracts. So I have the flexibility to sell the way I want to sell, not the way most of the industry pushes.
Do you mind if I coach you and kind of pick on you a little bit?
No, I don't mind at all.
So you sell the way you want to sell. Okay. I'm your customer. I want you to sell the way I want you to sell.
Well, that's a better way to put it. I sell the way I prefer to be sold to. I don't high pressure people. I don't have artificial timelines where, I'm pushing you to get in a deal before the end of the month. All the things I dislike about my industry, I don't do.
And see, I was picking on Lynn because that was a perfect example of some things, because I know Lynn is very experienced, and he would say that in a way that means to this customer that, hey, I'm going to take care of you, not my pocketbook. Right. And so, and you've got to remember, when we're selling, especially in a business to business and even in business consumer, people don't like to be sold. And they want to know what you have that's different, that's unique about your organization from everybody else. And we're kind of talking about the next step is, what does your company offer that, that others do not offer? And, Lynn gave example, I don't have these big contracts where I have fees. That's a fact. Don't make up things. A lot of people will make up things, and, it's like one of those things like, okay, great. Well, yeah. And they go and verify it. And we're in the days of millennials and Zs. And if you don't think millennials and Zs will check you out and verify everything you say, thinking, I had somebody come to me, I was doing a training program, and I talked about Michael Jordan being an 82.6% free throw shooter. And they said, well, actually, Michael Jordan was at 81.9675. And I said, oh, was 82. Okay.
Wow, he sucked.
Yeah, he did. But I mean, that is the way we are in this stuff. So don't make up things about your company that aren't true, because they will go and look at it. They'll search it. They'll find you on Facebook, LinkedIn, your webpage, and they'll do their studies on it. And, it's one of those things that you've got to understand that, hey, say what your company does, give them, something that they offer that nobody else offers that's unique about your organization. Next thing, what makes your solution better? Lynn did a perfect example of that. He says, I'm a small broker, so I'm able to shop for the best services based on your needs, not my needs, not the company's needs. So that is something that's unique about his organization, is he is able to shop with you. Mortgage brokers, that's really unique about them, is they can go to 72 lenders and find the best mortgage company option for you, not for the bank. Okay. And so that's important. I mean, when we're talking about this, your company and, what you do. Dion, what do you do? I can throw some questions.
Sorry, I couldn't get the unmute button to unmute. I own a couple of mailbox stores, so like a UPS type store, but we're independent and work with all the carriers.
So what's unique about you from your competition? I mean, we have UPS and what's all the other ones that are out there?
I think especially in this area, the fact that we work with all of them, FedEx, UPS, DHL, Postal Service, and whatnot. That makes us a little unique. I mean, otherwise you're going to the UPS store to deal with your Amazon returns. You're going to FedEx to deal with FedEx. So we're kind of a one-stop shop that way. I think the other thing is that because we are independent, we are very concerned about our customers and how they view us and the work that we do for them. And so we really strive to provide the best customer service in the industry.
So who here works for a big company like an Allstate or a big real estate broker or mortgage company? Anybody? Financial? Oh, we got all independent people. That's it. Going to make it better. So,
Well, Kirk works for Farmers Insurance. Does that count? Kirk Bruce.
hey, Kurt. Yeah, come on off mute. What does Farmers Insurance do that's unique from everybody else?
He might be on the phone.
Oh, he went.
Yeah.
Come on, Kurt. You gotcha. You're on mute still.
They have an Oscar winner for the commercials.
Oh, here he is. Okay.
Well, every insurance company does the same thing, I think, but I think you have to try to separate yourself a little bit and create a reputation that people can trust. And that's the big thing. They know that they can turn to you and they can refer their friends to you and everything like that. And that takes a while to build that reputation, but it's kind of used to be the comparable to a used car salesman years and years ago. And it's kind of a little bit, I'm in the industry 25 years. I left it for 10 and came back to it 5 years ago, and a lot has changed. So it's a lot of hard work in building trust, I guess.
Well, and when you have big names like Farmers, Allstate, people have heard those companies, and I really appreciated what you just said, because it is great to that you came out with that, because your clients will appreciate that. You say we're all the same. It depends on the person, because that goes into the next slide that we're going to talk about. But understanding that, hey, we all do things the same way. We just have a little bit of different pricing, and based off of what you need. I might be the best fit for you if you're a homeowner with a couple cars and a boat. But if you have a big farm and a boat and a camper and a trailer, I might refer you to somebody else that has better coverage on that, because I might not be the best solution for you. And it shows that your integrity stands out from other people in this industry. And it's really important, because first impressions are most lasting. Why should we use you over someone else in your company? So you have a farmer's agent. Kirk is a perfect example of that. Why should I use Kirk versus Steve over here down the street from me? It's about the person. The company has its strengths of its own, but it does make it about the person. If you trust the person, and the statistic that we have from a study that we did in 6 continents around the world, we asked, different questions about sales, and 72% of the people said they'd rather buy from somebody they trust than best price. Everybody tries to sell price. It is not price. I don't care if you're in the mortgage industry, if you're in the insurance industry, if you're in the credit card industry, it's about trust. Can I trust this person and their organization to take care of me? And when something goes wrong, I can pick up the phone. Kirk's going to be there and he'll get me into claims and get it taken care of as quickly as possible. Or am I going to be sitting here trying to find that person on the phone and spending a week to get to them and I never get any help? So
Signing up with that internet bot's not going to have somebody to call.
yeah, exactly. And there's a big major company out there that's in the insurance industry that now has gone to voicemails, a voice automated system, and you can't get anywhere. And I won't mention their name, but I hate that. I really hate that. Any company I work with, if I call them and I get the automated system, press 1 for your payment, press 2 for customer service, press 3 for this. And then it says, what is your issue? Please, let us know. We'll get you to the directed person. And then 10 minutes later, you finally get a human being on the phone. I hate that. As a customer, I will not work with that company. I will find somebody else who picks up the phone and says, hi, this is AT&T, can I help you? Or at T-Mobile, can I help you? I do not like those kind of companies. And we got to remember that. We need to distinguish ourselves from our competition. So Kirk, I hope you answer your phone calls when people come and not go through the automated loop. I know that some of the
I make myself available way too much, but it works. But one of the phrases that a used car salesman gave me years ago when I was an infant in the industry was under promise and over deliver.
Yes.
And that's hard to teach someone. It's more of a moral framework. So it's worked for me all these years.
So let me ask, how many of us are in real estate or mortgage industry here? Anybody besides?
Susan real estate. I mean, Steve is mortgage.
Okay. So why do we work 24/7 in our industries?
Reputation.
Reputation, yes. But what have you created with your customer?
Relationship.
Well, you created something else that they can call you anytime, any place, and interrupt your family life and your dinner with your friends and your special occasion. And we need to set boundaries. And I'm going to tell you, salespeople I used to be in the mortgage industry and I used to be that person, but then I would tell everybody, I said, hey, I'm available Monday through Friday. I work until 9 o'clock, so you can call me up till 9 p.m. And then on Saturday, I work, from 12 to about 3 p.m. And then Sundays, I'm not available because I'm spending my time with my family. And most mortgage companies are closed that day, so I can't do anything anyway. So I set the expectations for my customers, and they appreciate that. If you let them know when you're available and when to call you, they will call you during that. My first few years, I had people call me at 1 o'clock at night.
Oh.
No. So
I'm not Jake from State Farm. Yeah.
Yeah. So what you're saying is it's up to us to set expectations.
Yeah,
Is that
set
it?
your expectations with your customers. Let them know your hours that they can reach you and say,
Yeah.
if it's an emergency, please let me, leave a message. And I do check my messages after hours, and I will respond to emergencies. Okay. And, define what an emergency is. Your car wreck, your house burned down, or something like that.
Yeah.
Make it, it's important that you would take your time to talk to them. So what makes you different from your, all the employees in your organization? So going back to Kirk, what makes you different from any other farmer's agent? What makes Sue or who was the other person that raised their hand different from any?
Even Brian, I believe. I think Brian's mortgage too. I'm not sure. Yeah.
So what makes you different and distinguish that? Now, going back, I want to go back to this slide here. How we say it, that believes we take action. When you go meet a customer and you ask them a question, let's just go with the mortgage industry. So, what do you want to do? You know, how much do you want to, buy? Okay, great. So that's going to be $2,000, and then your taxes, insurance on top of it is going to be about $2,800 with everything. All right, does that work? I mean, you qualify for that. Or what is it that you want to pay for a house? And they go, well, I don't know how much I qualify for. Well, let me ask you a question. If I sat down and said, you qualify for a $3,800 payment monthly, are you going to be able to do that? And they always go, heck no. Okay, so what kind of payment do you want to have? And then we'll work it into the size amount of house you can buy. And if that size of house isn't what you need, then we got to bump it up and realize that, hey, it's going to be a little bit tighter on our budget and what we need to do. I'm asking them what they want and not just telling them, hey, yeah, I can qualify you for a $3,800 house payment. Because again, we're trying to see from their point of view, earn their trust. And if we talk from their point of view, saying, what can you afford? Because if you told me $3,800 house payment, I'd say, no way. And I actually, before I retired, I had a client that called me. Her husband and wife made $90,000 plus. And when we sat down and calculated it out, they're buying a $425,000 house with 5% down, taxes, insurance, everything. Their house payment was going to be $3,300 a month. Well, if you take their net income, that was almost 50% of their net income. And they were just freaking out about this. And I said, I can tell there's some fear going on in here. What's going on? They said, well, do you think we ought to do this? And my reaction to them was, do you feel comfortable doing this payment? And they go, no, I don't. Then don't. But we've already done all this work, and you got so far, and we're approved. We just need the appraisal. I said, I don't make the payment. My job is to make you comfortable. And if this isn't the best solution for you, then don't do it. They have come back to me now with their parents, and they're buying a duplex together, and they're putting $50,000 down. And I got that done before I retired in February. And so that's a perfect example of building your trust for your customer, knowing when to say no. Hey, this isn't right for you. Don't do it. They trust you, and they'll, go back to you when they can. They'll refer you business because they know that you're going to take care of them. So this is one of the things that we have in our sales program, and it's called Connect, Collaborate, Create, Confirm, Commit. And it's the sales process. It's the stages of the sales process. Just let's have some fun. Somebody come off mute and tell me, when do you start selling in this process? When do you think you start selling?
At the connect part.
Pardon?
Connect.
Okay. Somebody else. Lynn, when do we start selling?
I think not until you get,
Has to confirm.
yeah, you've got to have somebody wanting to work with you. If you start selling as soon as you talk to them, you don't know if they're serious. You don't know if they're a serious customer. You don't know if they're able to buy. So you've got to get a little farther down the road. I would say you've got to at least collaborate and figure out what's going on. So you're starting before you get into create and confirm, definitely. But I don't want to think you want to sell too early.
Kara?
And is the confirm, can I just ask, is the confirming the information that you've obtained from this process, or is this confirming that they're interested in it? Because I was thinking that this was confirming their details.
Yeah. Confirming that you want to commit, go forward and commit. So,
Okay.
Kara, Chris, Sue, any of you? All right. Well, connect, we actually spend 2 sessions on is how do I start connecting with my customer? And going back to what we talked about is nobody wants to be sold. They want to connect with somebody who's going to take the time and make them part of the process. A perfect example of this was I introduced the insurance agent to my sister here in the office. and said, hey, her son just had his bicycle stolen. He's got renter's insurance, and he really needs to get some coverage that better covers him because their insurance agent didn't cover his bike, and it was an expensive bike. He started selling my sister on insurance and why she should be with him. And I mean, he walked out of here after giving my sister his card and everything and told him, and it wasn't for her, it was for her son. And she ripped up his card and threw it in the garbage can. So we need to connect. Connecting is listening to our customers, asking them questions. What is it that you like about Farmers Insurance? What is it you like about your agent? So if you were able to change one thing, what would that be? And getting them. And then when you go to the collaborate stage, collaborate is asking them. So you said that you wanted insurance, for this amount for these things. Okay. Here's the estimate for what you want to cover, your boat, your car, and the motorcycle and stuff, and your kids. And here's a policy that goes just a little bit above that. It has a little bit more coverage because then it includes a $2 million umbrella policy, which helps you make sure that in any of your kids that have an accident, anything's covered. And you have $2 million of coverage for any incident whatsoever. And that just gives you that little extra peace of mind to sleep. Over here, the last column, this is the third option, and this is the Cadillac version. If you keep going the way you guys are going in the next 5 or 10 years, we'll probably get to that Cadillac version. But I wanted to show you the different price points. Which one do you think, would be best for you? Most of the time, they're going to pick the middle one. And they'll pick the middle one, or they'll come back and they'll ask you, well, I'm looking at the middle one. What do you think? Now you become a consultant. And that is what we want to do in any sales position. We want to be consultative. We're bringing them in. What is it that you want this to do? What is it do you want it to cover? Do you have kids? Okay. Do you have enough protection that if they get in a car wreck and you're collaborating? You're not selling. You create the options, and now you start asking them, so which one is the best solution for you? And they come and ask you your opinion. You've won their trust, because that's the best thing you can do. And that's where you start to sell, is in the create confirm stage. Is that any questions on that?
I'd say you can also help them there, especially when you're talking insurance, because then they can talk specifically. That's where you see the knowledge. This
Right.
is the coverage you have. This is the coverage I would recommend, and here's why.
I wouldn't say
Look at the cost of this.
I would just say, here's the three options. This one covers what you asked for. Here's
Right.
something a little bit better, and here's the Cadillac version.
Right.
Yeah. So let's see. Do we have any questions? Unmute yourself, or you can post your cap. Who's that? Sue?
Sue, you have a question, Sue? So
I don't
again,
think she-
collaborate is bringing them into the process, asking the right questions. What is it you like about your coverage now? What do you want to add to make sure that your coverage isn't doing? They say, well, it's the price. Well, price is different based off of what you have covered. Now let me ask you a question. If you had a $100 insurance policy and you get in an accident and you end up having to pay $50,000 above what the policy covered because you didn't have enough coverage, is that something that you were willing to do? They go, no. Okay, well, if we go up a step to $150 a month policy, now you only have maybe $5,000. Is that something you're willing to do? Oh yeah, it is. Okay, well then let's put that on the board so we know that's one of the options that you want. Designing it's called collaborating, but it's designing it, getting them to give you input so that you can create it. And this is for mortgages as well. How long are you going to stay in the house? Do you plan to stay there 5 years, 10 years, 15, 30? Is this your forever house? So what is it that you want with the rate and the program? What do you want it to do? Do you want it to be stable? Do you want it to adjust? Do you want to keep it low for right now for the next 5 years and then it goes up? Because your lifestyle is going to change. What is it that's benefiting you? And you're making a customer design something that helps them understand what the process is. If you can help your customers feel like part of the sales process, they're not being sold. They're consulting with you, and you're there as their partner, and you're helping them build a product that they want, not what you want. Does that make sense?
Yep.
shaking some
Yeah.
heads.
Yep.
So, no, I think that was it. I got a few more things. I'm gonna go back here. So, everybody come off mute. I want to have some fun with this.
Okay.
How many of us have ever experienced a salesperson that was just high pressure?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so give me a scenario, Chris or Kara or Sue or is it Teresa?
Teresa, yeah.
Give me a scenario. What was a situation where you were really high pressured besides carbs? Car salesman is always high pressured.
Well, I had a car salesman that had me in tears one time. That was really, I felt really pressured, but
Well, and out of the mouth of babes, my sister and I went car shopping when her son was about 4 years old, and we're looking for a car, and we're at a car dealership, and the guy, kept going, "Oh, this is the best car for you. This is going to do. Hey, let's write it up. What do we got to do to get this written up?" Kind of like that pushy salesman. And he says, "Oh, I got a call coming in. Let me go take that while you guys talk, and I'll be right back." And when he came back, he said, "So, are we going to do this?" And my nephew said, "My mom thinks you're the biggest ass in the world, and she would never buy anything."
oh, that's precious.
Bring a child with you.
Yeah.
they'll tell them the truth.
In the old days, they used to ice you with the sales manager for a while
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and try to push the extended warranty onto you.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to how do we want to be seen? I mean, do you want to be seen as a creepy car salesperson, or do you want to be seen as somebody that consults with your customers, takes their interest into the conversation, builds something for them, doesn't just throw them out, "Hey, yeah, we got a 30-year fix. It's at 6.75 because rates are so high, and we can get you done tomorrow. Let's get this all written up and close it." Great. Well, I had a client, it was 3 years ago, come to me that said they'd been to 4 mortgage companies and nobody was listening to her. And I said, "So what is it that you're concerned about?" And she says, "Well, I'm buying this house and I know things break, like the refrigerator, maybe a water line, the heater, and stuff like that. How do I have money to pay for that? Because I'm putting all my money down. What do I do to make sure that I have enough to take care of that? Because I don't want to lose my house." I said, that's very important. Understanding that there might be some repairs that come up and being able to handle them is valuable. Most real estate agents include what's called a home warranty policy when they sell a house that covers you for roof, water, appliances, and some of the other things. And it's like $400 a year. Some of them, it's gone up a little bit, $400 to $600. They have a $50 to $75 copay. So if your refrigerator stops working, they come out there and they look at it and you pay $75. Just like you're going to the doctor's office, you pay a copay. If they can fix it, they fix it. If they can't fix it after a couple tries, they'll replace the item for you. And your policy covers that up to a certain dollar amount. It's just like having car insurance. And she's like, "I didn't know that." "Well, what happens after a year?" I said, "Then you have the option to renew that policy and you can continue to buy it every year just to cover those items." She says, "You're the first person who's actually explained that to me, and I really appreciate that. So let's go ahead and get this thing done." Again, it's all about taking time to understand who your customer is. And I'm going to tell you that I'd say more than 50% of the industry and all of our industries don't do that. They're just, "Hey, let's get that sell. Let's get that sell." Especially in the mortgage industry right now with rates being so high.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah, let's close that loan. Yeah, hurry. I don't have any other loans going on right now.
Exactly.
I need to eat."
Yeah, the mortgage broker's calling you at 1 a.m.
Yeah. I mean, your prices have gone up, and you have customers that are complaining about it, and you got to remind them, "Hey, why did you come to me in the first place?" Because you wanted to make sure that you're covered. So let's sit down and look at your policy and see if we're still covering the things you need to have covered, if there's any changes we can make, to make the policy work better for you. And again, all you're telling them is, hey, it's not about payment, it's about the coverage. Focus on the value of what you do, because that's why they bought it. They didn't go to you because you're the cheapest insurance agent out there. They went to you because you took the time to make sure that they're covered, so that they get in that car accident, their kid runs in, hits the doctor, and the doctor can't operate anymore because the car accident, and you get sued for $1.5 million, and your policy only covers 300 grand, and now you're coming up with the rest of that difference between those policies. You know, and Lynn's, you know, credit card services, he's out there helping them understand that, hey, you have a stellar year, and in a big company, you pay, you know, 15% of your money to the credit card agency, and then you have a bad year and you still pay 15%. Now, wouldn't you rather have something that, you know, takes it in consideration of how much you make? You know, if you're only making $10,000 of sales, we're not going to take, you know, 2,000 of it. We're going to take 200 of it. It makes a big difference, and explaining it in a way that they understand what your services is. Questions? Anybody? Throw out something here.
Well, I just want to let you know, Teresa said she's driving, so she
Oh, yeah.
has a hard, okay.
Yeah, I saw that. Thank you.
Well, Kevin,
And
I think
Kevin-
there's, oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that we might be, you're talking about rushing, trying to make the deal quick. As a broker, we might be rushing because the rate's going up and we don't know whether they're gonna even qualify tomorrow. So
And again,
unfortunately, during this recent,
being in the industry, you know, in that mortgage industry for 30 plus years, I always started with payment. I said, what kind of payment do you want? And sometimes if they told me that they wanted a payment at 2,000 and I knew we couldn't do that on a fixed rate, I say, okay, we're going to have to look at some adjustables to get you into that kind of payment, unless you're willing to raise your budget a little bit. Let's talk about the benefit and the disadvantages of those. And I educate them on it, because then again, it's focused on the payment and what they can afford, not what we can afford. And we need to let them know, hey, rates are going up. This is a volatile market. So we want to make sure that you're comfortable with the payment and understand that. And as soon as you're ready to make this decision, we probably want to lock it in to make sure that your payment doesn't go up. My favorite line, Steve, to people in the industry was, you don't pay rate out of your pocket, you pay payment. So Christian, you've been quiet. What industry are you from?
Oh, there it is.
Well, I'm not for any insurance companies. I do graphic design, and I also am part of an SEO startup.
Sweet.
Oh,
Yeah.
very nice.
Graphic design.
Hmm?
What kind of graphic design?
Well, right now I'm focusing on logos, but I really want to get into branding. I think that'd be pretty good to get into. And also like doing more print stuff. I would like to see like my stuff printed on some paper. It'd be really cool. So.
Well, this is a valuable, tool. Is going into that collaborate stage, is saying, okay, what is it that you want in your logo? What is it that you want it to say?
Yeah, exactly.
And so give them some ideas and make a couple different options of that drawing and say, here's the first one, here's the second one, here's the third one, and take a look at it. Which one do you like the best?
Yeah.
Say, well, I like this one. Can you add this to it? Okay, great. Yeah, let me do that. Let me make up some more mocks on this and fix that for you. Again, making them part of the process.
Yeah.
And a lot of us don't do that. And Lynn's going into credit card service, industry and talking to restaurants and stuff. Let's look at what you're doing now. Let's talk about, what you're paying for your equipment that you said you have, and let's look at some of the other options. What is it that you would really benefit from if you, were able to reduce your expense and overhead on this? And they start talking about it, and Lynn then, takes notes, sits down, and we go through this in our sales program. We actually talk about what kind of questions you should ask. Remember what kind of customer you're talking to, because if you're talking to the owner of the company, what does he care about? CEO. Christian, CEO, he wants you to make a logo. What does he care about the most?
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. What does his customer care about? If you're talking to the marketing department, what do they care about?
How to get their company identity out there.
Yeah.
Like authentically, I guess.
Yeah. And so we got to remember that, hey, if I'm talking to a wife, in the mortgage industry, on a client that's buying a house, I need to talk to her based on what? The kitchen, the bedroom, the bedrooms, the backyard for the kids, because that's what they're interested in. And so talking to the mortgage industry, saying, in order to get that, the prices are going to go up on this, and we have to get a real estate agent involved that can really help us narrow down what you want. And that way we can make sure we get you the payment that you want. The husband, he just wants to know, what is it going to cost me? What expenses, how much do I got to have down? When do I get to pay this? Two different perspectives, totally two different perspectives. Now, sometimes it's reverse, right, Lynn? The wife is that
Yeah.
person and the husband's like, hey, I just want a garage that I can put my tools.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes the husband, it's like me, I'm most interested in the kitchen.
Yeah, exactly.
I do all the cooking. I like
Yeah.
a nice kitchen.
So, and I'm not picking on realtors. Any realtors in here?
Sue was here, but she had to leave, I think.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I have had a number of real estate agents that I worked with that sit and listen to their client. And they say, yeah, we want, about 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And they go find them this house in the middle of like Timbuktu, next to a railroad, and don't even listen to their customers. And I had one of those when I first bought my house, and I finally ended up getting a new real estate agent because they just didn't listen to me. They're just trying to get me into, the first thing that they can find to make the bucks. And you can tell that. You can really tell that. Financial planners are the same way. Hey, yeah, I got this product and this product. This is going to do with you. How do you know what they want until you ask them? My favorite commercial is, I think it's the E-Trade, where the guy goes, so what does retirement look like for you? And they say, well, I don't know. I'd like to have this lifestyle, have about $5,000-$6,000 a month in income. Okay, let's design a plan that gets you to where you want to be. And let's start talking about what we can do to help you get there. And then they start looking and focusing on the different products and solutions that is going to help them step up to that income level. That's what we need to do as salespeople, and you'll stand out from your competition. It doesn't matter what you're selling. You need to find out what your customer wants and needs. And I'll end on this a little story, because we use this in our sales program. A customer comes into a hardware store and he's looking for a drill bit. And the salesperson comes up and says, hey, can I help you? And he says, yeah, I need a drill bit. And he says, oh yeah, we got all these drill bits over there on aisle 5. Come on down here, let me show you. Here's all the drill bits. These ones are wood, this one's steel, this one does this. Okay, great, see ya. Customer walks out, goes into the next store, and next hardware store, and the salesperson says, hi, how can I help you today? He says, well, I'm looking for a drill bit. He says, well, what are you using the drill bit for? He says, well, I got a fence built and I need to hang a gate. And he said, so what's important about the drill bit for your gate? And he says, well, the hole's got to be straight, because if it's crooked at all and the drill bit has a tendency to bounce and stuff, then my gate will sag and it won't be perfect. So what does he want? What does that customer want? Does he want a drill bit, or does he want the perfect hole?
Perfect hole.
Oh,
And that's where we need to get. We need to understand what our customer wants. It's not what we want. They don't want a mortgage. They want something that's affordable that can fit in their budget. They don't want insurance. They just want to be able to sleep at night knowing
yeah.
that kid hits them. And Kirk, I brought that up, the umbrella policy, because my agent did that to me. He says, you have kids driving? He says, if they get in an accident that you have to pay anything above your deductibles? I said, yeah, no. Okay. And he says, so here's an umbrella policy that covers you for $2 million no matter what happens, liability, all this. And he explained it to me and benefited to me. And I looked at him and I said, I don't care what that costs, just write it up, because I'm going to sleep better at night. And I didn't care what it cost. I really didn't. And it was affordable at the time, but it's about our mindset. You got to understand where your client's coming from and what they want to do.
I'm going to come to you, but I'm going to come to you, Kevin, because your policies cover anything,
Yes. Yes.
anything and everything.
Kevin, I was hiring a mover. We're scheduling a move coming up, and I had a referral and I sent a message via their online. Guy called me back within a minute and a half. So already super impressive. We had a conversation. He knew who referred me, which also helps. And he explained how they move. And he didn't realize what he's doing, but the place we're moving has brand new bamboo hardwood floors. Not hardwood, but bamboo floors. And he said, this is what we do to ensure that we don't scratch floors. And then he said, well, what do you want to do? I said, let's book it. I didn't have to get a second choice. He's already been referred. He answered questions and concerns that he didn't even know I had because he was good at explaining how he did things. And he got back to me so quickly. And yeah, let's do it. When do you need to move? So.
And hopefully he came through with all that.
He did. Well, he will. It's scheduled. It's on the schedule. But I mean, I was totally impressed when he got back to me literally a minute and a half after I sent him the message.
So anybody have specific questions about maybe their industry or how they can do something different, and standing out from your competition? Because remember, most people in your industry are in it for the sell. They're not in it to try and help the customer or find out what the customer wants, especially in the mortgage industry right now. I'm glad I'm out because it is a starved industry right now. And it's like, okay. Kara, Brian, do you guys have any specific questions?
Nothing for me. Thank you.
Yeah. Steve?
You need any salesmen at Dale Carnegie? No.
Yeah, actually, we can. We're looking for salespeople. So that's a different industry as well. So I have to work with my customers saying, what is it that you really want to achieve out of your organization, with the training development? And they say, oh, this, and this. I said, so how do you measure that? And they go, I don't know. I said, well, I mean, any training comes in and they do something, you got to be able to see some progression and improvement in your, with your people. So how do you measure that? What is it that you would see? And they answer that question, then they finally get to it. Yeah, I want to see productivity go up this, and I want this to happen, and I want this to happen, less fights, less arguments. I said, great. So you're measuring it by these standards. Okay. So if we're able to increase that, to a percentage, what would that percentage be? I don't tell them, give them a percentage, because then it's like, if I don't meet it, I lose the deal.
Yeah.
I let them say it. Well, I'd like to see it increase at least by, 50%. So is that realistic? Do you really think any training could increase it by 50%? And they go, well, maybe not, maybe 20, 25. I said, well, all right, then let's just go with that. And, so we have that standard. And when we come back and beat that, it's like what somebody else said, under deliver and over promise.
Yeah.
Over promise and under deliver, or whatever that is. We usually come back and they're like, wow, that was more than what I thought.
Measure once and cut twice.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. My dad always said that. Yeah.
Or
So,
Christian,
I hope not.
Christian, draw 100 times and make him happy. And get them. And, something going back to your industry, Christian, is maybe get some ideas from other designs that have already been made and show them that. Say, here's one, here's one, here's one. What do you like about this one? What do you like about this one? What do you like about this one? Okay. And then you make notes about that, and then you customize it based off of what they say.
Yeah.
Same with the insurance. It's what do you really care about? I cared about sleeping at night and not my kids killing somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, that was most important. Now that they're gone, I still have the umbrella, because if I get in a serious accident, I want to be covered. I don't let, I haven't, got rid of it. My insurance agent loves me. You want to be my new insurance agent, Kirk? I'm looking for one.
Sure.
But
I gained the trust of a person who worked for State Farm for 25 years.
Oh yeah, I call them Snake Farm, by the way.
Oh, yeah. They're a great company. Just got to find the right person.
Yeah.
They are a great company, and they do have great services and products and stuff. But I had the wrong agent.
Yeah, they got a little bit too big for their britches, I think. But anyway,
but
I'm available.
Dion, any questions for me?
Nope, I'm good. I appreciate what you've had to say. You have some great information. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Kevin. Kara had her she had unmuted herself. So Kara, I just wanted to see if you had anything to say or ask.
Hi. No, I'm glad I got to join your group. How often do you meet?
Well, this is a webinar.
Okay.
Yeah, we have leads groups in Portland and Seattle and Denver.
They meet every week in
Yeah.
on the day. You know, some of them meet at lunchtime, some of them meet in the mornings. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Where are
Kevin
you
and I met earlier
located?
today.
yeah, we Lynn and I were in one at noon today. So
Yeah.
pretty much.
So I'm in San Diego.
Oh, okay, yeah, we don't have anything in San Diego right now. So, yeah,
You do
but we
business.
do the
in Oregon?
webinars.
Do business in Oregon or Washington?
Actually, I used to live in Vancouver, so I'm familiar with Seattle.
Yeah,
But do you do business up here?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you're coming up here to do business in this area, then yeah, you might want to connect with some of the people to connect you with people that are in the area. But if you're not doing business up here, then I would recommend finding a group down in the San Diego area.
Yeah, but I did learn a lot. Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're welcome. Thank you
yeah.
for joining us.
Well, thank you. So anything last minute, anybody have before we end the webinar?
Thanks, Lynn, as always. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Lynn and
Well,
I.
it's good. You always give good information. It makes you think. And on this one, I always think every job I've had in sales, I take a look at my competitors and what I think they're doing right and wrong and what they're doing that annoys customers. And I try to avoid the things that are annoying.
Yeah,
I'm gonna throw one thing in because you said that because it was so funny. Is I worked with a company that's painting company and they do commercial painting for big projects. And the salesperson was manager was with me. You know, came and talked to me about his new recruit. He says we're out on a job. He's talking about what we do and how we do it and doing all this stuff. And the person said, "Yeah, let's just go ahead and write this up." And he said, "Well, let me first show you this and this and this." And he talked himself out $1 million policy.
Yep.
For goodness sakes, people, if they say they want to buy, shut your mouth and write it out.
Stop selling. You're done.
I know.
You don't need to go through your whole sales pitch.
We've all had people do that too.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Sometimes
Let
they
me
were
tell you the
working with you.
benefits of this heater. It does this and this and this and this. And I'm like, I don't care.
And this is what we do when we screw up.
Or they're telling me the technical details of the heating system, and I'm like, I don't care. Will it heat my whole house? Is it efficient? And how much do I pay for it? I don't
I
care.
know, exactly.
PPUs
Yeah.
and PPUs and all that stuff. So remember what your customer wants. Ask
We
them.
call them engineers, the
Yeah, oh,
kind.
We do.
So good.
So,
Well, thanks, everybody. I will be sending out a replay. We had several who had registered who couldn't be here, so everybody will get the replay. So glad you were all able to join us. Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate
Thanks, Kevin.
it.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Kevin.
Thank you.
fun.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
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 Later.